might get a free hot dog either.
I'll give you one. I'll give you two, in fact, when you can pick up the brush. Oh, you don't do that anymore, though, do you? Come on in. For those that do not know Carl, this is Carl Coffin. And Carl, how many years have you been here with us?
26 and a half.
Right after you got out of school, right? Mm-hmm. And was this your first job? That's what I was thinking. So he's put up with Mount Carmel for 26 and a half years, honey. You need a crown. And anyway, I haven't signed that. Here, let me borrow your ink pen real fast. You just get me. But anyway, Carl's our employee of the month, and I have had so many phone calls and so many people stopping me and so many people seeing me that they know that I'm the mayor and what a good job they have done when it snowed so fast. And when did you start? The snow came on Monday, but you all started way before that, didn't you? Did you tell them what you did? Some? What'd you do?
Spreaded salt and grater bladed.
Okay. And you was up all day and all night, and you just got like naps in between, and then another crew would go out and you all would come back in. That's what I was thinking you did. Anyway, we appreciate all the years of your service, and we hope you continue to do it many, many, many more years. And if you turn around this way, I'm sure that he wants a picture.
Show him your certificate, Carl. Get it down.
There you go.
Thank you again. Stacy, would you come up here, please, and David?
See what happens when you clap your hands? You get in trouble.
These two guys, I'm going to introduce you. You know who Stacy is. He has been filling in for our police chief. Now we do have an official chief. Woohoo! And this is David Larson, and I think I said that right. Right.
Perfect.
And he is from Loudon, Tennessee, and he will be bringing his wife up and here when school's out, because she's a school teacher too, so I know where she's coming from. And so we want you all to make him feel welcome. And he's going to have these men out on these streets, so watch it out, because you're going to speed, you're going to get a ticket. Right, Stacy?
Yeah.
And Stacy's
Right, Mark?
Stacy's still part-time. You'll still be part-time,
Yes,
right?
I will
He
remain as
sti-
part-time.
He will still be a part-time. He's got a full-time somewhere else down the road. I won't say where. But anyway, I tried to get him to stay, but you know how that goes. But anyway, welcome again, and
Thank you
tell
very
your
much.
wife that we're looking forward to her coming.
I will, thank you.
And thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
And he has worked his head off. And he's been our only one that we've had for a while besides him and Stacy. So we'll get it straightened out. Okay. Approve and corrections of the minutes for the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, dated February the 22nd, 2024, and the committee, department records, and monthly financial report. Do I hear any questions about it?
Make motion to accept.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All right, we will have now the visitors' comments, and all visitors wishing. Oh, okay, do you approve, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now, the visitors' comments, all the people wishing to address the board shall stand and state your address and your name, and you shall be limited to a brief presentation. The board may not participate in any discussion and cannot vote on the subject you present. Absent of emergency and earliest time the board might discuss and vote on this matter will be at the next board meeting. Individuals and group representatives who have placed an item on the tonight's agenda will be allowed to make a brief comment when the agenda item is open for discussion. Do I have any comments from any of our visitors? Wow, nothing? Okay, we'll move on. Old business, discussion and consideration of a Parks Commission, Alderman Jim Gillum.
I'm gonna make a motion to go ahead and pass this, or take a vote on it. And I know there's gonna be some unhappy people if you pass it, if you don't pass it. But we've been playing around this thing since December. It's time to move on.
Well, I'd like to make a comment here. Jim Bear dropped that this last month. He sent all of us a letter saying to drop it. So we're still working on a newer one. So my suggestion is wait till one more month. I know we've waited several months, but one more month, cause we're in the middle of, we wanna take, like, Jim here said, to take one of the aldermen off, we'll take an alderman off, and then go down to 7 board members for the Parks Commission.
Mayor, Alderman Gillum's motion is eligible to be heard, it's on the agenda, and it becomes a question of whether he gets a second or not, but it's prematurely to do a discussion at this point. So what is your motion in detail, and what are you asking for?
I'm asking it get voted on tonight. Because we met in here in February. It went around and around, and I made a motion, table it and send it back to the workshop. So we did that.
And we're still working on it in the workshop, and Emily said that she has to, just because that we did not finish the meeting, and finish discussing this, that she could, but she said she had to put it on the agenda.
It's on the agenda now.
Yes, it is.
The motion is to make a vote. To vote to what?
Pass it.
To accept the bylaws, I think so.
What?
To accept the bylaws.
Just want to make sure we understand, we had a meeting for discussion, so, and this is there a second, I guess, there's a second?
Second.
I mean,
Now,
I want
it's
to
open
say
to
this.
discussion, so if anybody wants to say anything at this point, this is the time to do.
You said it was open for
Yeah,
discussion?
no, you got
Well,
motion for a second and discussion, yes.
we had the park meeting, the park committee had not been able to review this. And the next, park meeting, we were going to discuss it. So,
I did bring this back up onto the meeting, but I asked your chairman to have his bylaws by next workshop. If y'all haven't discussed it, he's not gonna have it done by next workshop, not either.
Yeah, he will, because he's going to call a meeting. He called a meeting for the next week after next, right before the workshop.
I asked for a roll call vote.
Well, you haven't had a second yet.
I'll second it.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Alderman Jim Bear,
Yes.
Alderman John Gibson.
Yes.
Alderman Jim Gillum,
Yes.
Alderman Darby Patrick.
Yes.
Alderman Mindy Schubert. Abstain. Vice Mayor Teresa Mock,
No,
Mayor Pascal.
no.
Motion passes.
I have one question. It's that the bylaws, the new one we got, said we won't have a meeting unless it's up to the board. I believe that's what it says.
we already set our meeting dates, didn't we, Darby?
That's up to the board now to decide whenever the next meeting is.
Well, you've been pointing to
This-
him for it, he's
I'm
not
just-
only the board.
No,
This is the
I'm
whole board.
they're talking about the bylaws, or he reads the bylaws more than anybody there. I'm just double checking the bylaws that we voted on there.
So, 2.45. I think it's in the 2-405, as far as meetings go.
Yes.
Says the Parks Committee shall meet as needed to conduct business. It shall be the duty of the chair to preside over the meetings, absent of the chairman or vice chairman shall preside Housing Board Chair and Vice Chair, the Secretary shall survive any meeting other than the regular meeting being called by the Chair or by any 5 members. So,
I think that's the one.
that's the old,
This is the new one here.
take it back. The first part's the same. Parks Committee shall meet when requested by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. It should be the duty of the chair to preside over the meeting. And if the chair is absent, then the vice chair and vice chair is not there, the secretary should preside. And again, the quorum of the Parks Committee present at the meeting shall constitute a quorum. So,
Pardon?
that's what, just, that was your question, what was passed?
Yeah.
Okay.
It will take 2 votes before it changes, right?
Meetings, yeah. So, we picked out the months and the dates, but it said, the board, before we have one, has to say, we can have a meeting.
You still got an opportunity to do meetings, because it takes 2 votes for this to become changes, so it hasn't completely changed yet.
So y'all will have time to get your bylaws in before the next meeting.
So we bring it up in next meeting then, right?
I mean, it's gonna be on the agenda for the next meeting.
Yeah.
I know.
So, everybody understands that was the first reading and there's a second reading and the next meeting, so. Next, agenda item, I guess.
Okay, we go down then to the new business. Discussion consideration resolution 24-631. A resolution to appoint a new building inspector, code enforcement officer through safety.
Oh, I'm sorry, I mixed up the resolution numbers, that's actually 23-632.
632.
Yeah. I apologize.
Now, he's calling a meeting, the guy that's doing, gonna be, that, on this, he's called a meeting for next week, right?
No, that's the planning commission.
Oh,
This is for building inspector and code enforcement.
So this is where the town would be hiring Safe Build, which is a company that does these type of things. Safe Build would supply personnel, that are duly qualified, basically, they would have their inspector's license and that type of thing, to handle the request for the town. That would be for code enforcement, also for zoning.
And what method are we contacting? With Vince, we just called if we have questions.
So the same method, they will call City Hall, or, they're actually gonna set up a system online where you can link to it through our website, and it's, fill out the, building permits and things online, and then it immediately contacts them, or you can call City Hall, and then we send them a notice, and they contact you.
Make a motion to accept it.
I have one question there. Billing there, do they get paid by the, permits, or we get like a base salary we get?
They're not employees of the town, it's a contract, so they get paid for inspection.
Okay.
Second motion.
Who, made the motion?
And Alderman Sugar.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Jim Baird,
Yes.
Alderman John Gibson.
Yes.
Alderman Jim Gillum,
Yes.
Alderman Darby Patrick.
Yes.
Alderman Mindy Sugar,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Teresa Mock,
Yes.
Mayor Pat Stillman.
Yes. Now, the guy that took Vince's place, and he's calling the meetings, what does he do?
He's a planner, he didn't.
He's
have
just a
Vince's
planner
place.
then?
Yeah,
Okay.
he works for the development district.
I have a question on that. Who's gonna go around the town and see what needs to be checked, and not to be checked?
The code enforcement,
What days is he gonna be able to do that?
I don't know yet.
Okay. Historically, that's been something that, when it brings the attention of City Hall could contact the people. Obviously, they're not gonna have somebody out down the streets, but the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, or actually citizens could, ask that they have a request that somebody look at something, see if it conforms with it. Part of this is one of the next resolutions is that there's something called, we're under the International Building Code, is what the inspection works on. When you get to maintenance, it gets a different, type of document. It's called the International Property Maintenance Code. Again, that's what we're suggesting, that's what Safe Bill has suggested that the board adopt in order to allow them to have clear guidelines of what to enforce and not enforce. It's called the International Building Maintenance Code, Property Maintenance Code, I'm sorry.
That was the same criteria that Vince was working under, was it not?
No, because we've never adopted this particular international code. We have adopted the building code, but not the property maintenance code. Vince would be working off of our ordinances and stuff like that, okay, that we have. But this is adopting a whole code set in place of those individual type of ordinances.
Is there a way for us to see this maintenance code that they have? I'm curious of what it entails and whether or not it's conforming to our.
Yes, I'm sure there is, in the sense that you can see a good deal of it on the internet, but it's, like I said, it's the standard accepted code. Seguin's was adopted, if my recollection is correct, Churchill already has adopted it years ago. But yeah, it's called the International Property Maintenance Code, and it's a, I think it's 2021 version, just like all the other international building codes, or electrical codes, or plumbing codes. Very detailed, so there's a huge amount of paper, so I don't know if we could probably get Safe Bill to give us a copy, a physical copy maybe of the code, so if we're here at City Hall, so everyone looked at it, could look at it.
Yeah, I can bring it home.
See if they could do that, because it's usually a manual, and then you buy a subscription for updates, and it's very detailed.
And this looks like it's a standard with the state as well. It's a standard with the state.
I don't know if the state does that particular one or not, especially in our particular county, since we don't have anything that way, I don't think. And this is something perhaps if the board wishes to educate itself further, it could be put off to the next meeting. I don't think it'd be any harm. This is just something that Safe Bill has asked us to consider as a board to facilitate their enforcement.
What would be the chances of having these people show up for one of our little workshop meetings? I'm sure every one of us gets a lot of complaints about the appearance of property here in town. I'm sure some of us make complaints also.
She can ask them.
And I'm sure they get a lot more called in here than we do, even though we get a lot of calls for the trash in their yards, and the trucks and the cars that's not tagged. And there's one on Montgomery Avenue who's been brought to court on how many times, and they haven't done anything to him.
Well, I think this is a very professional organization. Once we establish a procedure for them doing it, I think they'll do it. Then the next step is, obviously, it becomes a municipal violation, so it goes before the city court. And then it's up to the judge to determine how that particular situation is going to be handled. But my understanding is there's been Mr. Sullivan has been the person that's been mostly the contact between this town and Safe Bill. And I could imagine he would be willing to show up and discuss what it is, and perhaps at that time make sure there's a copy of the international code available.
I make a motion to table this until the next month to vote, but then also add it to next month's workshop to discuss it further.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Jim Baird,
Yes.
Alderman John Gibson.
Yes.
Alderman Jim Gillum.
Yep.
Alderman Darby Patrick.
Yes.
Alderman Mindy Schubert.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Teresa Moore.
Yes.
Mayor Pat Stillwell.
Yes. Okay. That is, okay.
Makes sense.
That's what we just did.
That's it. Okay, I got it right. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Discussion consideration resolution 24-632, a resolution to apply the CDBG grant. I hope everybody read that. Sounds good.
Make a motion to approve that.
A second.
I have one question for you. In that resolution, it says that, there's a discount for being a 3-star municipality. Can you elaborate on that, Ms. Wood?
I cannot.
Okay.
Sorry. The development district wrote that resolution up, so I'm not
I know
sure
that
about
the
that.
3-star community is what we had a meeting on last year, year or two before. But I mean, we're talking about being a 3-star community, the 4% discount on that, that's substantial when you're talking at $400,000. Okay, that's all.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Alderman Jim Baird.
Yes.
Alderman John Gibson.
Yes.
Alderman Jim Gillum.
Yes.
Alderman Darby Patrick.
Yes.
Alderman Mindy Schubert.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Teresa Moore.
Yes.
Mayor Pat Stillwell.
Yes. Okay. Discussion consideration resolution 24-633, a resolution to withdraw and substitute delinquent property tax return.
This is a situation with the passing of Mr. Point, who was the Lincoln property tax attorney for the county and Rogersville and everywhere else. People were looking to, all the municipalities were appointing new tax attorneys. It's a highly specialized niche. Kevin Keaton has taken over, who is Mr. Point's partner, has taken over all the accounting, tax delinquency accounting. And that's who I would recommend be considered. He's being retained by Sir Goinsville to do the same thing. And we have such small amounts, it'd be very hard to find somebody to take on, because you need a lot of programming and stuff to get this done. It's a real paper mill to get these proper notices out to the taxpayers and then collect the funds. And so you need somebody that's an experience, and Mr. Keaton has that experience from being a partner with James, who's always been the delinquent tax attorney for the county and other municipalities.
What office is he with? From?
How old is he?
Rogersville? There'll be no change in fees or fundings or anything like that. It would be just a smooth transition. I make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Jim Baird.
Yes.
Alderman John Gibson.
Yes.
Alderman Jim Gillum.
Yes.
Alderman Darby Patrick.
Yes.
Alderman Mindy Schubert.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Teresa Moore.
Yes.
Mayor Pat Stillwell.
Yes. Okay, discussion and consideration of, to accept a new member of the Parks Committee, and that is Adrian, what was the last name? Bowen.
I make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
I have a question.
Yes,
If y'all, if the Parks Committee agrees to go down to 7, maybe taking off one alderman and one citizen, or two citizens. You're taking off one alderman already, so that brings it down to 8. You already lost Alan, so that brings you down to 7. Right?
We have some that aren't showing up.
So are you saying, are you asking this board to take them off of that committee?
no, we're asking to put, Adrian Bowen on for, Alan, who has resigned, and now Darby's resigned.
I guess everybody, you asked me to.
Pardon?
No, you said
You
that
said,
night.
yes, you
No, I was
did.
thinking about it.
Well, Joe,
You
you,
said that.
well, I didn't know you resigned until I
I
got
didn't say
the
resign, I
meeting.
was thinking about it, I was upset.
I
You were
call
going
for
to
the
go.
question,
Huh? You what?
so I call for the question.
What question?
He's asking for a vote on the motion that's on the floor.
Well, we have,
Let's see if I understand. You're saying adding a new person at this stage, if the resolution passes the next one, you'd go down to 7.
but we're
Well,
going
we're
to already
jumping
make, we're going to already have a meeting that we're gonna call to discuss, the other ones, to refill in. There's 2 more that, is going to have to be taken out.
I think what Mr. Bear's saying is though, if at this point you have a full committee and you may be going down 2, it may be premature to add somebody else to the committee until you know who you're taking off. 'Cause
We
you-
do know.
We do know who we're taking out.
Well,
And we do know Alan resigned, so she's taken Alan's place. We've done voted on the board, not this board, but Parks Board. We've already voted her in there, so we have to bring it before you all. And, she asked me this 2 or 3 years ago, about being on the board, and so,
I still have the question of who are you taking off the board? Because this board has not been notified that you've taken. people off.
Alan was taken off the board.
Call for the
So
question.
So we're
Call for the
replacing
question
him.
again.
Go straight to the vote.
all right, so
It's
we
nobody's
call for the
business then.
question, which means that you have a motion on the floor and you need to vote on that motion.
Yes.
So the motion is to add somebody to the.
Andrea Bowen,
So.
you made the motion, didn't you?
Did I
There's
second?
Well,
a
I'll
motion
second
and a second. Okay. Then I
You
guess,
want a roll call?
Mindy made it. No, you made the
so the
motion.
roll call.
Teresa.
Okay. Alderman Jim Bear,
No.
Alderman John Gibson,
Same.
Alderman John Dillon,
Yes.
Alderman Darby Patrick,
This thing,
Alderman Mindy Schubert,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Teresa Moore,
Yes.
Mayor Pat Stella.
Yes.
One, two, three. Good, yes. Teresa voted yes.
Okay, so the tax then.
Yes.
Alderman Gibson, did you abstain?
I'm saying.
Okay.
And he the same. We had 4 yeses.
So what was the
So,
result?
Yes.
so Adrian will be with us on our next meeting, and then we'll discuss about what else is going on there. So,
May I ask that the Parks Committee notify this board of the absence of the other people that you're taking off?
we're not sure yet, if they don't show up the next one, we'll have to take off.
And you'll be notified.
And you'll be notified, yes.
You'll get the meetings the next, let's see, we're in between months, so it'll be a while, Jim.
That's fine, I
Okay.
just like to know who's going on.
We're every 2 months, so it'll be a while.
Will there be a, meeting before the next board meeting? You want one?
Yes. He'll call one.
Is that call one?
He's probably gonna call one.
Okay. I know every few weeks, and we'll be.
Anybody have anything to say? Darby,
No?
Mindy,
Just to remind everybody, we have our Easter egg hunt this weekend, it's the third annual, we have over 4,000 eggs, bounce houses, and, the Easter bunny. So it starts at 11 o'clock, the hunt begins at exactly 11:10 sharp, so if you ain't there by 11:10, you ain't having.
Mindy, I got a question that somebody asked me. There's a little guy, and I saw him too, that he had 2 Easter baskets. He ran, and he looked like he's about 12 years old. Ran and picked up and filled his basket full, took it to his mother, got the other basket, and was running, and a lot of kids didn't get to do it, so how do you all?
I was there last year, and every kid had a basket full of eggs, so.
Well, I was watching him too, but he had 2 baskets, and he was running in front of everybody. So, but no, I mean, I'm not cutting you all down, because y'all got your hands up there, so, okay, John.
Yeah, I wanted to congratulate Carmel Elementary on a successful STEM night. We had some elements from the city participating in that, the library, fire department. Just want to appreciate them going up there on their time to help with that. Yeah, so to congratulate the elementary school on a
Thank you.
successful
Okay,
STEM
because I
night.
couldn't understand you.
They had elements from the city there with the fire department and the library. And so we just want to thank those people for going up there and spending their time with the kids. Yes.
Thank you for speaking up, I can't hear it hardly, but things are going on in here. Teresa?
We appreciate you taking the job.
No, thank you very much.
Representative Carmel.
I'm honored to be here.
And I'm sorry, can I say one more thing? I forgot. Can we send a card to Mr. Point's family, since he was formerly our delinquent tax attorney and he recently passed? Can we send him a condolence card on behalf of the town? I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt that. I just forgot that.
Oh, by the way, the guy that came from Norton, Virginia and filmed this, and they put it on they put it on, let's see, what did he tell me? YouTube. And he's the one that, was down here filming with his television station, and it is on, Wi-Fi, YouTube, and he told me, he said, thanks for, he gave me credit, and I told him, I said, I don't get the credit, I said, because he got a thank you note, for participating in the parade, in the Christmas parade. I saw him in, over in Coburn here a few weeks ago, and he said thanks for the letter as a thank you, so I don't know who's seen it. Did y'all send it, or did you send it? Did y'all send it to him? Did you, Jim? John? Well, somebody sent him a thank you note, and I'm so glad that they did, so. Anyway, Jim Perry, you have anything?
One of these days, you're gonna get my name right.
I know, you'll try, there's too many Jims and Johns and whatever your name is. Did you change it lately?
I don't have much to say, I just wanna know what is going down at the Rocket Center. That place looks like a daggone scrap yard.
They have done it a little bit better, I was down there a couple of days ago, and it looks a little better, but it's still got a long way to go.
But the thing of it is, you know, you're losing all that oil and stuff out on the dirt. EPA comes in, does an inspection on that, somebody might get in trouble. Somebody needs to help us out down there. I don't know what the cure is for it.
Sure is,
Is it my turn?
we need to.
No, wait a minute, Jim,
Go ahead, I won't interrupt you.
I'm sorry. The cure is not only that place, but a lot of other places around town that have gone downhill greatly since Vince was unable to fulfill his duties, is to get Safe Build in here and get them working on this code enforcement. They're the ones that are qualified, not just anybody can be your code enforcement officer, okay? So in order to have the process of cleaning these places up, that's the key, is to get Safe Build in here, and we'll try to do our very best, I'm sure, and then we'll have the Safe Build representative here and bring a copy of the maintenance code. But that's what needs to be done, yeah, there's been a noticeable, I'm not sure why, but there's definitely been a noticeable difference in the amount of violations I'm seeing around town. I
Well,
think
it's-
part of it reflects Vince is not here anymore. No one's doing the job because no one's qualified to do the job. And that's what we're trying to,
Just do the best you can. It's a mess.
it is a mess, I agree. And
We'll blame it on her.
Vince was a tremendous asset for this town, for the county, for everybody.
He was.
He did your planning, which you now have a planner for. He did the building inspection, which you now have a building inspector for. He did code enforcement. I mean, he did the EP, he did the water stuff, okay, for EPA, the wastewater things, all the reports.
I bet he's doing it up in heaven, cause he wouldn't stop.
He, like he said, he did it right up to as long as he couldn't do it anymore, and the town, as I've often said, was gonna really miss him, so, and that's part of it, you're right.
And you can always call him and he will make sure he calls you back or come and see you. The only other thing I got, I'm gonna bring Carl in on this one. We talked about that, street down by the lumber company. I don't know what the name of the street is.
Built way down here,
Yeah.
first choice.
You come up through there, and you probably see, them cars will back up, and block the center street. I mean, the intersection.
There was 11 there a while ago coming up, trying to turn down, had back up 11 cars. Of course, that's a state thing, I'm sure there's nothing we can do about that.
No, it's the state.
Unless
That
they,
But
plan.
could we make a turn lane or somewhere out of that?
if the state would let you,
Yeah, the state.
you could put a turn lane, that'd help.
And another
Especially
place-
bad in the morning, and when school's turned out in the afternoon, that's when it's so bad.
And another place that's bad is up here, I thought they was gonna, talk about the turning lane up where the new, dollar store is, Dollar General store. That is dangerous up there, cause those people do not stop close there. They get all the way over in the bicycle lane sometimes, and sometimes they don't.
I didn't know where we would have to go through the state to do that, or if you had somebody you could call and see if we could make some kind of move, but I guess it gets crowded.
Well, you have to go through the state on that.
And I might well step where the sun don't shine and call it. Been there and done that.
Jim, you got something to say? Not
Just
Jim
like,
Gillen anymore.
just like I welcome the new police chief, we're looking to have one-on-one meeting with you and see what you do with the police department.
We're gonna make a hillbilly out of him.
Do you have anything to say?
I've been here 11 years, they haven't done it.
Emily?
Okay, I've got a few things, to address the property maintenance, issue. First, I've been in communication with several, citizens about complaints and violations, clear violations, things we've even had to clean up as a city, our maintenance guys. And so I do wanna say thank you to everyone who has been patient during this transition, everyone in the community that has seen these violations and experienced them because maybe they're your neighbor or somebody close to you, because this has been, I think, building over the course of a few months. So it was very important that we got that resolution passed tonight, because that gives Safeville the ability to do code enforcement, because we didn't have anybody to do that. So we have been literally without somebody to do any type of enforcement on that. Yes, so, I just wanna make that statement because, I think we're going, but it has taken a little bit of time. The other is to address Alderman Gillen's comments about the intersection down there. I will be happy to update you at the workshop on that, cause we have, Jason and I have been working on that.
Okay.
The last thing I have is I want to just express how grateful I am to have Chief Larson here. Very optimistic about the police department rebuilding and just getting us to where we need to be. I think he's gonna be a great addition. And also, we had some I guess administrative things we had to work through because of his background as a federal agent. So he is enrolled in the transition school in Nashville, to get his post certification, so he'll be completing that, in April. And I would say by the end of April, at the next board meeting, we'll be able to swear him in as our official chief, so.
You mean we gotta put up with him that much longer?
Temporary.
Oh, look how nice they look, they got new uniforms and they're all black.
Yeah.
I don't know if it must make you stand out, or if it don't make you stand out.
Slimmer, makes me look slimmer.
Oh, it does, well, I need two of them.
That's your gray hairs.
You can give me two.
The patches look good on the uniform.
We're showing out. So, okay, anybody else have anything to say? I think I covered everybody. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion.
Second?
You
Dismiss.
done?